Hey guys, I'm Cole. I'm back with another Transformers video, and I've got something that became kind of popular last year, and I'm glad they're still doing it. Walmart does this thing around Christmas time where they take two figures that they couldn't sell and they put them in a package together. And here I've got G1 Universe Optimus Prime. Basically, this is the missing link Optimus Prime for broke people like me. Looking forward to playing with that. And this is a remold, retool of the Skullgrin mold. This is G1 Universe Quake with G1 Heater and G1 Tip Top. He is a Target Master guy. So we've got cool artwork on the front. We've got the cab over style Optimus Prime and a cool tank going on here. We've got picture of Optimus Prime on the side. Over here we have the cross cells because it's the spot in the middle. And on the back we have a picture of the figures themselves. I actually got this 2-pack for $15. There's another 2-pack over there, and they've got Onyx Prime, so I'm hoping maybe get Onyx Prime. I don't know, but yeah, my Walmart finally has some cool stuff. Hopefully I can get a hold of it. Let me get this guy out of the packaging, and we will see how cool they are in their own separate videos. Alright, I got G1 Quake Heater and Tip Top out of the packaging. And let me go ahead and bring in my size comparisons real quick. Let's bring over Film Noir and Scourge and Soda Can and Hubcap. And we need to bring in the Siege car guys. Ooh. He's a little bit taller than Barricade here. Okay, that's cool. That's definitely something cool to observe. And you know what, we'll bring him in a moment because I want to talk about the Target Masters. So these dudes, understood. So let me bring in Universe / Generations. I can't remember his name right now, but he's the Target Master for Cyclonus. And then let's bring in the Target Master. This is third-party Target Master, but this is the one for Hot Rod. And then let me bring in one of the Target Masters for Scoop for Generations. And here is a Siege Target Master. And then here is a Power of the Primes Target Master. So, what point am I trying to make here? Okay, one, these dudes are noticeably smaller than other Target Masters. And two, they have zero articulation. Like, even the Siege one had bowl-jointed shoulders and bowl-jointed hips. This guy had bowl-jointed shoulders that were part of the transformation. This guy had shoulders, but he is also rocking the little interior dudes. Like, he gets away with being simpler. But then this guy has elbows, shoulders, hips, and a much more involved transformation than the Legacy Target Masters. Legacy Target Masters themselves. Zero articulation. They wear their weapon on their back like obvious kibble. They got the peg right in the middle of their chest. I mean, they look alright. Honestly, they remind me of Snailians all of a sudden. You guys remember Snailians? Those were weird. Transformation-wise, you just flip their gun out like that. And one can mount on top of the other, but then the purple one can't really mount on top of the other one because the feet get in the way. And that's another thing about the feet. They have feet on the bottom, but then they seem to have feet on their heads also. What's up with that? What's up with that? I don't know. I don't know. Combining them with Quake over here is simple. You just peg it into the hand, or since he's got a peg hole on the underside of his elbow, you can undersling it, and I think that is pretty cool. Now I want to stand Quake up here a second, and I'm going to bring in Titans return. Quake. Are these guys somehow related? I know they're both named Quake, okay, but one's a Decepticon, the other's an Autobot. They both have a similar silhouette. They've got the tank legs, they got the bulky chest, they got the guns hanging off their back. I don't know what's going on here. I thought Quake was a pretender at one point, but I asked and I was confirmed no, he actually did have his own character and his own vehicle mode back in G1. I don't have access to a G1 version, so I'm just going to talk about him as he is. Target Masters aside, they're definitely accessories, okay? I like him. He's got a nice, solid silhouette. He's bulky. He's got, you know, he's an obvious bruiser of a robot. The tank legs are cool. The backpack is very nicely contained. Yeah, it's just the barrel sticking up his back. I mean, that head sculpt, he doesn't look vicious, but he looks definitely serious, and you don't want to start stuff with him, you know? Let me go ahead and take the guns out of his hands. He's got multiple 3mm, 5mm ports. He's got 2 on his back. He's got 1 on each side of his legs, 1 in the bottom of his feet, 2 on the arms, 1 on the shoulder, and 1 on the back of his elbow. And if you're so inclined, you can pull his backpack off, and he's got, not only does he have a peg on there, but he's got another peg port on there. So you could really, now one thing I think they definitely missed out on is finding some way to be able to mount it on the arm. That is definitely a lost gimmick right there. Did I talk articulation yet? No, I don't think I have. He's got a swivel for his head. It is a ball joint, but because of the shape of his head, it kind of defeats the usage. There is a hinge there, but that's not really for posing. That's just to give him extra clearance for transformation. He's got a universal jointed shoulder. He's got a swivel with a hinge out. He's got an at the shoulder swivel. He's got a floating elbow, but it's alright. No wrist articulation really, because that's just the transformation. Nice full-on 360 waist joint. Very strong universal jointed hips. Thigh swivel with a just above 90-degree swivel at the knee. And he's got an in and out ankle tilt, so you can get some nice wide leg poses going on. Now, transformation. Let's go ahead and fold his hands in. You know, give you a heads up, his legs are really annoying, so we're going to wait on those for as long as I can. Take his chest, open it up, fold the entire back up and out, and as you bring things down, you want to close the chest plate down. Bring the arms, straighten the arms out. There's this slide joint underneath. You're going to need to slide down to get the clearance to bring the arms in. Swivel the hands around and peg them together like that. The tank turret's going to fold down like that. Now, okay, so spread the legs to get them plenty of room to work with, alright? Turn at the knee, just so it's starting to bend down, so that we can open up the side of the leg and get that tank tread flipped around. Bring the foot onto the hinge like this, so that we can get this part up out of the way, and then bring the foot back in and fold it down. These hinges in here are where the transformation is going to happen, and these guys are really annoying. So bring the hinge over and then down like that. You see that there? That allows you to fold this tank tread down, and then bring the knee down, and then there we go. We have this all lined up. Now let's try and, so knee down, bring that part away, tank tread comes around, bring that panel up and out of the way, fold down the foot, working this hinge in here. Now this hinge will actually pop off really easily. Let me go ahead and, there we go. See, look at that. but it pops just back in as easily. Now that we've got that all pushed down, we can take this part and do that. And then we've got this. We can peg the legs together. Now, there's these two little slots on either side that are going to go onto these tabs here. Also, there's these tabs in that arm assembly up in there that peg into the side of the arms. So everything's going to close down there and there. Let's go ahead and reattach our target masters. And he can engage in battle. Alright, I've got Quake here in vehicle mode, and let me bring in the comparisons. Here is Scourge. Here is Hubcap. Got Soda Can and Film Noir. And, of course, we got the Siege car guys. And let's real quick compare the target masters in their weapon mode with the Power of the Prime target master, Siege target master, Generations target master. Where's the other one? Here's the Fans Project and the other one. So yeah, across the board you can see how they've really cheaped out on yeah, target masters on this guy. He got the shallow end of the stick, definitely. And I want to point out, I can actually, if you're so inclined, you can like have a weapon storage mode. I like that. Let me talk about Quake in his... Oh, we got one more comparison. Got tie and return Quake is he's noticeably shorter, but he's got a much bigger footprint. Wow, that is an interesting thing to see there. He's got the gray treads. He's got the red with a little bit of blue on there and the gray turret. This guy kind of reminds me of like the Lehman Russ from Warhammer. He's just a brick slab, big old gun. Like, this gun would not be able to even do that. It couldn't even do that. And they'd be lucky if they could do this. They probably couldn't even do that. It would just be straightforward boom, boom. Mainly for like taking out, you know, reinforced bunkers and stuff. It's just a rolling slab, and you could, if you wanted to, maybe peg extra arms on there and change it. Put a construction arm coming out of there using one of the weaponizers. But this right here actually makes me worry, because if you lose the turret and you lose the other guns, like you could take one of these guns and stick that. I'm not gonna lie, that's actually kind of cool looking. Let's try the other one on there too then. Oh, the other one can't get on there. Can I do it this way? It kind of works, but now you gotta do this head sticking up in the air instead of. I like that. That's rather cool looking. So yeah, you could end up with a ruined toy, but the robot mode would be fine. So yeah, should you go get your own Legacy G1 Quake, you ain't missing out on anything with it. I'm glad I got it. I really appreciate it for what it is. He's just rolling slab of doom. If you could get them in the 2-pack for $15 to $25, absolutely pick them up, because, you know, tanks are tanks, and I should sometime find out how many various Transformer tanks I actually have. Oh, before we get out of here, I will bring the box back in and I will show off the cool artwork he has on the side here, and I will again joke about how this guy looks so dynamic in the artwork, and yet he's a literal brick. I'm Colwyn. I've been talking about Transformers G1 Universe, Quake G1 Universe Heater, and G1 Universe Tip Top. It's a good figure, but you don't need to rush out and pick one up right away. Thank you guys for watching. Bye-bye.